set my lineup, so.
Yeah, I still got to set my lineups, but also,
man, 10 minutes to go through everything real quick.
I'm flying out to California today, going to Trophy Smack HQ, going to the headquarters. So,
go.
Yeah, let's get these start or sit questions going. Let's get them pumping. Let's get this show kicked off. And of course, we have the active and the inactives that we have to discuss today. If you guys didn't hear, Joe Burrow is out today. No, I'm just kidding.
Don't do that. Don't do that to people. Someone's gonna go into cardiac arrest. It's gonna be not good.
I'm just kidding. No, we did see some news. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins is out. Michael Thomas is obviously questionable. Allen Lazard is doubtful to play. If you guys have any others, go ahead and ramble them off as we get this show kind of prepped up for the actual live stream itself. Is there anybody else y'all can think of?
I mean, there hasn't been any insane changes from what I can tell. Like Zach Ertz, look, if these guys are questionable already, just avoid them. Like, that's the way I feel. Like, Zach Ertz isn't ruled out, but don't do that to yourself. The old man hasn't done anything in like 3 weeks. Like, we have had all the updates up to today. I think if there's an extreme shift, I think that's the only way you change your approach.
Like, who are you talking about for extreme shift?
Well, like, again, like if Zach Ertz, like, oh, we're playing Zach Ertz, there's no hope. Michael Thomas, nah. Unless they give him like a full boat of confidence, I'm probably likely going somewhere else. Like, there are other options that you should have at this point. Your whole team shouldn't be decimated yet. It's not week 4. So err on the side of caution for some of these guys, unless like Drake London. There's no major shift in Drake London's status. He's questionable. He could play. He's a little banged up. You likely have a more secure option at this point, unless he's removed from the injury report right before game. That's the extreme shift that you're looking for.
Like, completely removed, like saying he's not even injured anymore, that he just miraculously healed overnight.
Yeah, the classic AJ Brown, he's on every injury report. And then before the game, they're like, nope, he's good to go. He's 100%. And then he, gets rest, in-game rest, like a vet at 24 years old, the A.J. Brown special. But you want that vote of confidence. Otherwise, nothing's really changed.
Yeah, of course. So, morning, everybody. Welcome on In Fantasy Football Discussion. Welcome on YouTube, youtube.com/fantasy intervention. We are here to answer your start or sit questions for today. So if you have any, please put them in the chat for us. That way we can get it rolling. Oh, I am joined, by the way, by my co-host, Coach Steve and Thomas Tipple FF. You guys can go find them over there at Coach Steven P on Twitter and at Thomas Tipple FF on Twitter. You can see the handles below. You guys can find all of my stuff at FF_intervention on Twitter, of course. Man, it's been a year since we've been able to put together a show like this, so I'm excited. Let's kick it off with our first starter sit question over there from Gator J. All right, we got Fournette,
Gator,
CH, Pierce.
What up?
Pick 2 full PPR. So I think Fournette, I'm already writing in personally. Like, that's an automatic go. He's an elite option. You don't draft Leonard Fournette to not play in week 1. He is in there. Then the question breaks down to CEH or Pierce. And with Dameon Pierce, like, I don't see Pierce seeing the workload or seeing the game script that we would want to see from that type of player. Davis Mills doesn't check it down a ton, right, to running backs. And, of course, look in the preseason. Guess what? That's preseason. We want to see what he looks like up against decent teams. Meanwhile, the Colts are probably going to run the ball down the Texans' throat. Texans are going to be a negative game script. And I just don't see a case where Pierce is putting up more than 10 points this week. I mean, maybe if he gets lucky at the goal line with a touchdown or two. But, I mean, do you guys see any way that you would play Pierce over CEH? And the reason why I like CEH up against Arizona is because Arizona is one of the worst teams up against pass catching backs. So
for me, the reason I can make a case for Pierce, the projected point total is 45. 45.5. So points will be scored on the day. You don't think Houston's getting shut out. Those are two great things. Last year, before Mark Ingram got moved, he was not only on pace for 1,000 yards, but they were just blindly letting him carry the football The only question, like you said, is pass catching. I think flex Burkhead is going to really ruin a lot of Dameon Pierce's upside all season until he can get out there. But how much upside does Clyde really have? Like the pass catching work is what we want, especially if it's 2 full points per reception. The Chiefs want to use every running back not named Clyde Edwards-Helaire to catch the football. So you're kind of just going with the better offense, which is Kansas City. That's my opinion, because Jerick McKinnon can do exactly what Flex Burkhead does to Pierce. You're just going with the better offense.
Yeah, I think Tom said it best on, I think, CH. It just makes more sense that way. I think he might have more of I think he has a higher ceiling this week, but also a really low floor. But you're going with the offense and a potential shootout with KC and Arizona, then probably a game that Colts should probably be ahead in this game a lot. So definitely CH.
All right, we got Scott over there from Fantasy Football Discussion. What's up, guys?
What up?
Man, we have Kirk or Mooney in the rain.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like, I don't want to play Christian Kirk at all. I mean, that's the reason why I have Christian Kirk as the title image, because I knew that we were going to get a ton of questions about starters sitting Christian Kirk. And honestly, for me, Christian Kirk is a no-go up against the Washington team. We don't know if he's going to be playing all the snaps out of the slot, right? We assume that he's going to be playing, 50% out of the slot, which Washington wasn't great against. However, Benjamin St-Juste has improved majorly in the offseason, has received rave reviews about his increased coverage. Plus, Christian Kirk, sure, he has a little bit of burst, but it's not like a significant. The main area that Benjamin St-Juste struggled was up against quicker slot guys, not necessarily guys who were great route runners or anything like that. He struggled against the quick twitch guys that were able to get that burst off the line. Christian Kirk, for me, does not have that. I don't want to play Christian Kirk regardless of the situation. It's supposed to rain in both situations, so I don't think that plays a factor. I'm going with Darnell Mooney as a lock for that one.
You say lock. I don't have the same confidence you have as a lock. Look, the Bears game's opened up at a 42 over-under. It's sitting at 39. I wouldn't be surprised if it shifts one more time. I think I'd rather play Kirk because I think he's going to be the number one on that team in an offense, shorter balls. If they're doing Hail Mary balls to Darnell Mooney against the 49ers, it's game over. I would rather have Christian Kirk than Darnell. I think Darnell Mooney had the worst 146 target season I've ever seen. So I'm out. I don't want to play him in week 1. I don't want to play him in this situation. New OC, field struggles throwing the football. Now it's going to pour. I'm going to take Christian Kirk.
Hey, it's pouring up there in Washington as well. Don't forget.
I understand that, but the game still has a higher point total as well. It's still expected to be a higher scoring game. I'll take Christian Kirk.
All right, you're the tiebreaker, Steven. Who you going?
Yeah, I think at the end of the day, it's like what quarterback do you trust more to get this guy the ball? And I'm going to go with Trevor Lawrence and Christian Kirk, honestly. I mean, he's their wide receiver 1 on this team here, and I expect that they paid him to be the wide receiver 1 on this team. I don't know how this man doesn't at least see 7 to 9 targets in this game very early. Mooney could too as well, but trusting Justin Fields in this matchup here, I just can't do it. I'd rather go with Trevor Lawrence and this hopefully new look Jags offense that should be much better than what we saw last year.
Did you just crack your first beer already, Chase? Like I'm over here drinking coffee with my Rick and Morty mug here. He's got, health is wealth in 2022 over there.
Let's
Chase
go.
Is over
it's
here
Sunday.
Popping cans.
Anybody else popping cans? Yeah, let's see in the chat. All right, we got Ron in the chat. He's asking, hey, boys, Julio, Devonta Parker, or Kareem Hunt in the flex today? 2.5 PPR.
Ooh.
That's a big time game changer there. I mean, Julio's tempting to play and roll out, but once again, we don't know the situation with that. Do we have an update on Chris Godwin? Is he playing?
He's projected to play week 1.
Okay, he'll probably see 50 to 60% of the snaps. He's not going to see a ton, but that's also going to pull at Julio's total as well. So we're going to see probably Julio play 40% of the snaps.
Russell Gage is also questionable with a hamstring. He's playing, but he's also got a hamstring. I think they're decoys.
Well, I'd hope he would have a hamstring.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'll go after.
No, this is tough for me.
I have my answer. So.
Carolina is one of the best teams up against pass catching running backs as of last year. They didn't really change too much. And honestly, I was going to run into this saying go with Kareem Hunt no matter what on this one. But the more I'm thinking about it, the more I am kind of tilting. I'm tilting towards Julio.
Are you full tilted?
I'm tilted, but don't forget, it is a revenge game for Devontae Parker.
Oh, narratives. Yeah,
narrative revenge game.
He's got the X to worry about. He's not doing much. Come on.
All right.
Okay.
I'm going Julio, I guess. God,
yes.
You got me, Thomas.
That's the right answer. Coach?
Yeah, it's the right answer. Julio just makes sense. Just imagine Julio in the dome, Sunday Night Football. I mean, it's going to be a great day. I think he ends up having a really good day, surprisingly.
This is a small write-up I did for this game. Julio Jones should be in every flex spot in rosters that you have. And the Bucs have averaged nine targets to Godwin, 8, almost 9 to Brown, 7 to Evans per game last season. Godwin not totally healthy. Brown is now a rapper, wishing he could have seen himself play. We may only get 1 week of healthy Julio Jones. It's in a dome. He has his hamstrings attached. He should be in every lineup. And Julio wasn't even bad. He averaged 14 yards per reception last year on a shitty Tennessee team. Like, when he played, he was still Julio Jones.
Yeah, when he played, I guess.
Yeah, when he played. That's the key.
I'm tilted hard on this one. If it wasn't 2.5 PPR, it would be a game changer for this. All right, keep those starter sit questions coming, guys. We do have another one from Giovanni Sierra. I hope I said that right. Pick one PPR: Godwin, Patterson, or Lockett. I love Godwin. Chris Godwin's one of my favorite players this year, but unfortunately, I'm going to fade him for week 1. I need to see him out there on the field, see what his snap share is going to be. It's unfortunate because, like I said, Godwin is one of my favorite players this season, but I am definitely fading him for week 1. As for Patterson and Lockett, this gets a little bit interesting because Patterson started fading towards the tail end of last year. His body just didn't hold up. They brought in, Williams to possibly take away from the goal line carries. Some of that work on the inside is what they're saying. And I was like, wait, Williams. We're talking about the same, like Damian Williams, right? That's going to take away goal line work. So I was like, that doesn't make any sense because he's not efficient. He's never been a good runner. And then I went and I saw his numbers. He's seen 10 carries inside the 5. Or he's seen 20 carries inside the 5 throughout his career. He's scored on 10 of them. 50% of his carries inside the 5 he's scored on, which I think is more than efficient. So maybe there is something there that we should be nervous about. But I still want to lean Patterson over Lockett for PPR purposes. There's a chance, obviously, that the Falcons go down. They're going to have to pass. Patterson would be used in third down situations, especially out of the backfield. We could see easily 8 to 10 receptions in this game from Patterson for 80 yards, which I think is more than what you can get from Lockett or Godwin.
Yep, I would prefer Cordero Patterson. He's a running back. Right, we want running backs to catch passes. Lockett is stuck with an awful, terrible scenario. And I think the Falcons and New Orleans game is going to be pretty high scoring. I think there's opportunity there. I would take Patterson. Just wait on Godwin. This is a major injury. Just wait. I think we're gonna need a lot of Godwin today, fellas, and it's always gonna be no. Like the chances of it ever being Godwin.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you guys. Patterson just makes the most sense. Tyler Algier is out today as well, inactive, which is even more of an, just to give Patterson the workload in this offense. I mean, he had 16 fantasy points in one game early on last year against them. I don't see why he can't do that again this week, especially in a matchup where they're probably going to be behind and going to need Patterson to do something out of that backfield. So,
yeah, the Denver defense is going to be significantly improved from last year as well. All right, so we have Kyler Murray or Lamar Jackson this week. This is a good problem to have, my friend. I am taking Kyler Murray in this one. Lamar Jackson is going to destroy the Jets. He's probably going to do it early, and they're probably going to end up taking Mike Davis and getting his 3.5 yards per carry, up until the end of the game, where you're not going to get points from really anybody on the Ravens outside of Mark Andrews and Bates. Jackson's fine, and he'll do fine if you have him. I'm not saying bench him, but for Kyler Murray's a lock, dude. This dude has the most accurate deep balls in 2021 for passes of 20 yards downfield or more. He only played 13 games and he did that. Now we're adding in Marquise Brown. Andy Studabella is back, of course, in the fold. Oh, I'm waiting for Thomas to say something.
I'm not gonna, because I think if there's gonna be a day, let's talk about it. Zach Ertz, questionable. We mentioned that. Rookie tight end. DeAndre Hopkins got popped doing the roids. Rondale Moore is out. They have two guys. They have dusty 475-year-old AJ Green. Oh, dear Lord. They have an absolute antique at wide receiver, and then they have Marquise, and there is nothing else. So this is not the week I'm going to trash Isabella, because if there's a week he's going to catch one ball for 80 and Chase is going to have those shorts off at Trophy Smack HQ, it's going to be today. So I'm not betting against Isabella today. Look, they took Colin Johnson from you. Maybe they won't take Andy Isabella too.
Rondell Moore.
To answer your question, though, it's definitely Kyler Murray, higher implied point total. When it comes to a really close tiebreak, that's the main thing I'm looking at, especially when we don't have a lot of data to follow that up. So if you don't have a ton of data, I'm looking at attacking the higher implied point total.
Hey, Axel needs to see y'all's pants.
That's not happening.
No. Sunday.
It's great. It's great. I'll tell you this. It's gray sweatpants. How about that? There you go.
Sure it is. All right. We got a question over there from Gator J. He wants to know Lance or Fields.
Puke. Lance
for sure. I don't really have too much to add to this. I think Fields is going to have, or San Francisco 49ers is going to have a field day up against Fields this week. There's no offensive line. It is absolutely brutal.
I'm
looking at the field right now for that game. It looks brutal. Really, and there's like puddles on the field, man. People running through puddles on the field.
Somebody said they're at 5 to 7 inches right now.
Yeah, it's brutal there. I know Scott Barrett's all about at fantasy points is all about Justin Fields, but in this game, I'm taking the better offense, and I think Trey Lance is just a battering ram. You know, they rushed him almost 22 times per game in his 2 starts. I see today coming very, very close to that as well. He's gonna be a battering ram.
Oh yeah, it's a lock in for today for sure.
All right, Carr or Trevor Lawrence.
Gator, how many leagues are you in, BB?
Can't be more than me.
Damn. No, we love you.
All right, I'm going Carr on this one. I know that it's tough. The Chargers defense is so significantly improved from last season. Their secondary looks like a boss, but I believe J.C. Jackson is out. Right, so that's going to create some opportunities for Devonta Adams to see double coverages, which is going to open up the other side of the field for Darren Waller, for Hunter Renfrow. I don't see a way that Carr just doesn't produce this week. Like, he's going to get it in. I think Josh Jacobs is going to have a very good game. I think Derek Carr is going to have a above average game for himself, which is like right around 20 or so points. T-Law, you're going to need some rushing upside. I could see it happening for T-Law, but you could also see him with 210 passing yards, 20 rushing yards, and 1 or 2 touchdowns. And I don't think that Carr has that type of downside. I think Carr's floor is much higher with a decently similar ceiling.
Coach?
Yeah, Carr's the right answer. I mean, just improved offense all around there and a potential shootout matchup here with the Chargers. I just can't see how you can't go that direction here. So the Commanders have a good defense too. And I don't know if Trevor Lawrence is going to overproduce. I think Carr can put up 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in this game very easily.
Derek Carr is one of Chase's favorite players, and I have been on the Derek Carr hype train since I started working with Chase. He's completely turned me around. Here's the stat for the day for Derek Carr. He has a higher big-time throw percentage than his opponent from last year of 5.22%. Herbert's was at 3.44%. The man takes risks, but he is a big-time throw maker. Darren Waller, the best cure for bad hamstrings is a new contract, and he got it. So I think he's going to be 100%. He's got all 3 weapons. The game's going to be insane. The revenge of the kneel down.
I will say, I do have a stat for Lawrence that would make this argument be like, okay, like we can consider starting Lawrence.
All right.
The Washington football team has lost all depth across their defensive line. Their depth in their secondary is brutal. Hold on, I actually had it up earlier. It might have been on my phone. The secondary for Washington, I didn't even know a couple of their backups' names, and I've been following Washington for many, many years. So the Trevor Lawrence has been struggle. He struggles up against teams that have depth on defensive line and on the secondary when they're able to put pressure up against him. 62.5%. Where is it? 62.5% of his turnovers occurred in the second half, while 37.5% of his turnovers occurred in the fourth quarter. A lot of people might think, oh, well, he has to pass more often because they have to catch up, right? Like that's what comes to mind. But he only attempted 54.7% of his attempts in the second half. He just had a much higher turnover rate off the passes attempted. So with that being said, like I said, he struggled up against teams with depth. This year, or this game, I should say, the Washington football team doesn't have a lot of depth. So Trevor Lawrence, keeping it close to the line of scrimmage, is going to wear down this defense. They're going to have to do a lot of running, and we might see Trevor Lawrence have a breakout second half, especially with Doug Peterson. All right, we have Cousins or Prescott this week.
Oh,
Cousins.
Thank you.
Easy.
Yeah, it's Kirk. It's Captain Kirk.
What about what if we start seeing, the defense for the Green Bay Packers step it up like they did last year? I mean, they were able to keep multiple good quarterbacks to a low point total overall. I mean, could we see the Vikings start to utilize Dalvin Cook a little bit more, and then Prescott throw for 3 touchdowns up against a porous Tampa Bay secondary?
Here's the problem with Dak. He's got CeeDee Lamb, Dalton Schultz, and then his number 2 wide receivers, Tony Pollard. His actual number 2 receivers, Noah Brown, because Tolbert, guy that everyone started drafting over Jahan Dotson in best ball for some stupid reason, and in rookie drafts, not likely to play. Like, come on. The only way I want Dak this season, if he actually starts running the football again, that's going to be, aside from that, he's just another statuesque quarterback. And Tampa Bay's pass rush is still going to be good. The Dallas offensive line getting beaten up. I'm still worried that they're going to run Zeke in the A-gap 37,000 times for no reason until I see some change, and Lamb hasn't proven to be a difference maker. Cousins, on the other hand, has the number 1 receiver in football not named Cooper Kupp, and I'll take that. And it's not a primetime game, so you're not getting primetime Cousins. I'll take Captain Kirk. Engage.
Love it.
Okay. Let's go ahead and hop down to this one right here. Keep those questions coming, guys.
I just really think Dak's going to be overrated this year. I really do.
All right, so let's go ahead and go to Axel's question. Mooney, Renfrow, Michael Thomas, or Jacoby Myers? Guys,
pretty easy.
I've got a confession to make of who I like, and I don't.
You like Jacoby Myers, don't you? You like Jacoby
Myers.
I knew it.
Nick Needham in the slot. Oh my God, this is going to be an insane game.
He was upgraded to healthy. We just got the sleeper notification. It came across. He's 100% good to go. I like Myers too. The only problem is Renfro's really damn good, and like you said, if Devontae Adams starts seeing that shaded coverage, Renfrow was used at the goal line more often than you would think he was. If you give Renfrow one-on-one matchup on the goal line because you're doubling up Adams and you're watching over Waller, I think Renfrow has the higher chance of scoring when it comes to even here. What did we say last year? You want the guy that's more likely to score. I actually think Renfrow has a higher chance to score out of this group. We know Myers ain't scoring. That's not what he does, baby. That's not what he does. I'm going to take Renfrow here.
It's a new offense, man.
It's a Matt Patricia offense. They promoted him.
From defensive coordinator.
They promoted him to like senior VP of football operations or something, along with his OC job. Like they gave him a promotion. The man's taking over for Bill. It's going to be sad days in New England.
Yeah, thank God. Love that.
Oh my Lord.
It's Renfrow for me, guys. I feel like the offense is just better overall. I trust Derek Carr to get him the ball. They have that connection there overall. And like Tom said, the touchdowns upside is probably better for Renfrow than it is Jacoby Myers. So
Chase, I just posted a link if you want to post it in the comments. This is field conditions in Chicago right now. Brutal for the people to see. If you post it, it's not good out there.
All right, I just put it out there.
Breece Hall or Brandon Cooks. Peter, is this shout out to you, Peter. Hopefully this is a PPR. If it's not PPR, it's Breece Hall. Even though Breece Hall is a tough matchup, my co-host and Chase's co-host Jacob made a great case on Full Tilt on Tuesday why you should be weary of a player like Breece Hall in week 1. But if it's not PPR, I kind of want the running back. So I would take Breece. If it's PPR, I would happily take Brandon Cooks.
Yeah, I think that makes the most sense. Half point or even full point. It's just Brandon Cooks. The upside of getting probably 10 targets in this offense here in a matchup where they're going to be coming from behind.
Peter said 0.5. So I'm taking Brandon Cooks here.
Yep.
Yeah, 100%. Chase?
I am taking Brandon Cooks. I'm
okay.
On the same page you guys. I'm also taking every single lower or under total for the Chicago Bears game.
Are you making your bets now after seeing the field? Chase is like, I gotta change all my bets.
No, I'm not changing them. I'm just adding to it.
I got this. Raul Sanchez Chavez. What up, man? Kedarius Toney or Michael Thomas? This is an interesting one to me. I'm more inclined to play Toney. I like Kadarius Toney. And again, point total, 44 points to be scored, new offense. If everyone's healthy, I think I'm playing Kadarius Toney over a questionable Michael Thomas.
Yeah, I had this question from somebody who texted me today, and I said, Toney just makes the most sense. I just don't know what you're getting out of Michael Thomas, who hasn't played football in over a year at this point. Toney, if he's on the field and he's playing, he should see some kind of target share in this offense early on.
Hey, Scott, real quick, we have more than just 5. Okay, it's just 5 people on Facebook, but that's kind of crazy still because we would normally see about 20 people at this time last year on Facebook. So wake everybody's ass up, leave comments in the chats, especially in the group itself, and get some more people over here for start or sit questions. For me, Raul, it is definitely Kadarius Toney. I think Kadarius Toney is going to smash this week. It's an advantageous matchup.
Wait a minute.
Up against Tennessee. I like the slots. I love Kadarius Toney for this one. What are you saying? Wait a minute for, Thomas.
Just give me 1 second.
All right. I'm going to move on to the next question. We have Jamie over here saying hi from the UK, guys. Need to start 2 wide receivers, Judy, Ayuk, Thielen, Scary Terry, and DK. Any help would be great. All right. Geno Smith throws an accurate deep ball. Overall, I believe he was top 10 in deep ball accuracy. But I still don't love this matchup up against Denver with DK on the outside. That being said, I still like DK over Thielen. I love DK over Ayuk. I think Ayuk is automatically out. Where it comes and gets a little bit tricky is Judy and Scary Terry. So Terry McLaurin also has a very wet matchup over there in Washington, and he's likely to face double coverages deep downfield. I think that Terry could see like 7 targets with 4 receptions when it's all said and done. We know that Ron Rivera is going to pound the rock this week. We know he's going to keep it on the ground as much as he can. And I think that if any player you were going to put money on for like DFS type purposes, I would go with Jahan Dotson on a double move deep.
Yes,
when they're least expecting it. But Scary Terry, I don't think sees the targets and has enough efficiency because of the way that they cover him in order to warrant a start over DK Metcalf. I'm going Jerry Jeudy and DK Metcalf.
So Geno Smith is starting, and we saw him actually be able to provide DK with fantasy production. DK is the best receiver on this list. So if you're going to go total talent, DK Metcalf is the most talented player. I don't think it's very close. So I'll take DK Metcalf. I agree with you on Scary Terry, and I'm actually convinced that Jahan Dotson is going to be more valuable than Terry McLaurin over the next year or two. Maybe not right away, but I think he will be. I've been put on to your boy Jahan Dotson, even though I trashed him all draft season. Where we differ is I actually want to play Adam Thielen here. Thielen is healthy, and he is a touchdown magnet for Kirk Cousins. If I'm going to be all in on Kirk Cousins this week, I have to be all in on the weapons. I am taking Adam Thielen, DK Metcalf. I like Judy, but he's never been an elite producer, so I want to see it a little bit first. I know Thielen is a touchdown magnet.
We also know that it's a revenge game for Russell Wilson, and he might throw the ball 50 times just to say, fuck you to Pete Carroll for never letting him throw 50 times in his career. Has Russell Wilson ever thrown the ball 50 times in his career?
It's Russell Wilson.
Probably once.
On the day of the Lord. He's too nice of a human being. The man practices handshakes. He is that nice of a human. I don't think he has revenge in him.
Isn't it Monday night?
Oh, it is Monday night? All right, maybe he goes evil. But the man still practices handshakes. He's a very polite human. No revenge.
God. Wait, so you...
That's my counter narrative. He's too nice to have a revenge game.
Oh my God. I feel bad now because I'm going to go with DK. So Jamie, go DK. Obviously the three of us all pick DK, but I'm going to pick Scary Terry still. I mean, I don't know how you don't go Scary Terry. I mean, the Jags, they have a young secondary here that are still building up to being better. I think they are better than they were last year, but I think Scary Terry is going to see the target share in this offense. I mean, you paid him to be the number one wide receiver here. Carson Wentz, I think, is just a slight better upgrade than whatever they've had over the last 2 seasons now, and he should be fine enough to be able to put up, 80 yards and hopefully a touchdown in this game pretty easily.
So I did, while we were talking, I looked it up. Russell Wilson has attempted 50 passes twice in his career.
Ooh.
Both times they were exactly 50 attempts. And it was 2019 in September, and then 2020 in October, once against New Orleans, once against Arizona. The funny part was the game, I mean, they were high. It was 27-33, so 60-point total, and then 34-37, but that one was in overtime. So, he did attempt 50 passes 2 times in his entire career. That is, wow.
Wasn't the September 19 game where Russ Cook, let Russ Cook started? Because he had never done it before. I'm pretty sure that's where the let Russ Cook thing started, because people lost their damn minds that he threw the ball that much.
Yeah, he threw 406 yards, 2 touchdowns, and had a total of 44.3 DraftKings points. That's crazy.
Fair. That is pretty cool.
The other time, the second time he did it, he was 3 interceptions, 3 touchdowns, only put up 29.92 or 35.9 DraftKings points.
He is quite possibly one of the worst perennial top 12 quarterbacks I've ever seen play fantasy. Oh, Gator, get this McDonald's. Wait. It's Taco Bell.
I was just about to ask. I was like, do they have Taco Bells up in Canada, or is it too far north of the border?
Are you, Chase? I'm offended. Eh?
That's the purpose.
Oh
my God!
You offended Canadian. I'm all Canadian. Right, we got the Jays there, the Maple Leafs thing here. We're all Canada over here. Give me a break here, man. It's Taco Bell though, Gator. Come on, get that cheesy gordita crunch in you.
All right, we are winding down on the questions. Hopefully we'll have more next week for y'all, but we have this one left. If you have any more questions for us, please put them in the chat. We'd love to keep it going. We're going to be going up until 12:30 if we still have questions to answer. If not, we're going to hop off after this one. So put any questions that you guys have in the chat. Big shout out to you guys, Fantasy Football Discussion, for joining us along with the guys over there on YouTube, youtube.com/fantasy intervention. Yeah, let's go with this one. Rashad Penny or Devonta Smith in my last flex spot. All right, so I do think that this is going to end up being somewhat of a shootout. It's going to hit the over for implied points. I believe it's sitting at 48.5 for the Eagles versus the Lions. I think it's sitting at 48.5. Thomas, do you have that up? I think that it will end up hitting over on this one. I think that it will be
48.5. It's gone up 48.5.
So I do think that we will see movement in the ball. However, I don't think that Devonta Smith is going to be a guy that is featured in this offense. Now, will he have 5 receptions for 65 yards and possibly a touchdown? Yeah, that's great numbers. That's something that you would definitely want to start. I just don't know if the touchdown is going to be there. So if you're okay with 5 receptions for 60 yards and 11 total fantasy points in your flex, that's what you might have to deal with. Meanwhile, Rashad Penny is going to get utilized, and he's going to get rode very hard across this game up against Denver. Denver, their secondary has improved majorly. Their middle linebackers, not so much. We're going to see the Seahawks try to keep the ball out of Russell Wilson's hands so he can't throw it 50 times. Rashad Penny, there is no Kenneth Walker, I believe. I don't think he's playing this week. So you're talking about Travis Homer and who's the other guy? Who's the other running back over there? Travis Homer and
DJ Dallas.
DJ Dallas. Yep, DJ Dallas over there for the Seahawks. They're not going to get very many attempts. They might see some third down opportunities, but Rashad Penny, don't forget what he did last season and don't discount that, because it's essentially the same exact team being run back as what we saw at the tail end of the season. There's not any changes really.
Look, for me, it's definitely Penny, and I don't care if it's PPR or not. There's this. The Denver Broncos defense, not very good here. They have one player in their front seven that hit a 70 or above PFF grade on defense. And Randy Gregory, questionable. He's not 100%. Chubb, coming back off injury last year. He hasn't looked exactly sharp throughout the preseason either. So you have a team with a questionable defense versus a team that wants to run the ball 37,000 times. They want to run the ball all the way from start to finish. They're running this clock down as fast. They want to get in and out. Pete Carroll's got to get to bed. So I'm taking Penny here, PPR or not. He's going to absolutely smash this week. I truly believe that. And I said it on Tuesday.
Yeah, I kind of agree with you guys. I mean, Penny has that upside we saw at the end of last year when he was just going nuts here. Devonta Smith is solid, but I think, Chase, you said it best. Like, is the touchdown going to come his way? That's, I think, the biggest issue overall, because what Jalen Hurts is able to do in the red zone with his feet, it can move the ball and just score his own self instead of having to throw that touchdown. Plus, you have Dallas Goedert and also A.J. Brown there, too, that are probably going to target heavily as well. They just paid both those guys to be there. So, definitely Rashad Penny. But real quick, if there's anyone who is out and loves to utilize the IR spot like I do, pick up DJ Dallas or Travis Homer. They might be on in more of in dynasty formats if you play dynasty, but just pick them up and put them on your team for tomorrow. So you just have them just in case something happens.
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely. We're getting some sexy, some spicy and sexy stuff in the comments. Oh my God.
Your love.
I mean, it's football season. My wife may not talk to me all year, so hey, I might need it. And the other thing too, Devonta Smith, when he was the wide receiver 1 on that team last year, only 10.9 fantasy points per game. So it's not like he's an elite upside player as it stands. So I want Penny.
All right, let's go ahead and hop on to this last question then. If you have any more questions, get them in the comments, of course. Should I be in panic mode having Akers? I'm gonna say yes. I mean, they wanted to use Darrell Henderson again last night, and Darrell Henderson's in the weirdest spot. Like, he does well, and then he has some, miscommunications or something ends up happening, and they bring in, Sonny Michel, and now Sonny Michel's the lead back, and it's like shit, man. Is this going to be the next backfield where we don't know what happens, And so I think that Akers, if somebody's willing to take him off your hands for a decent price, then I wouldn't be against moving him. Like, I wouldn't be like, oh, you got to hold on to him until his value increases, because we don't know if his value is going to increase. Did you see that missed block?
Yeah, it was bad. It was bad.
Like, he didn't even want to block the guy. He could get benched all week next week for that.
To be fair, the left guard didn't want to block him either. Like, 73 was like, nah, I don't want him. And then Cam Akers was like, why are you giving him to me, man? And that was that. Like, it was a nightmare from start to finish. But you're right. He didn't want to engage. He didn't want to engage.
He went
at
up,
all.
He saw him, and then he took off to the left. I mean, it was like fearful. Like, he didn't want to plant, and because he was afraid he was going to get hurt. And when I start seeing that from players where they don't want contact, like they are avoiding taking hits, and especially guys coming off injuries.
I don't know. He also had the most amazing 0-yard carry when they threw it 12 yards behind the line to him.
Yeah.
Like, the toss play he forced 4 missed tackles on that play, engaged in contact, looked really good and explosive on it. And then they were like, nope, like, that's it. We're going to put you in the worst situation possible. Henderson and Akers had the same rushing grade, according to PFF.com, in that game. So I don't think Darrell Henderson is exactly limited opportunities for Akers, but I don't think he's exactly providing anything. He couldn't keep Sony off the field. Don't full tilt on Cam Akers yet. If you have him, just sit him for a while. He's likely a second half type player if he gets the strings back, and if not, you have to cut ties for what you can. You're already going to take a value L at this point in the season. What's taking a value L a little bit longer?
Yeah, if he's his RB3, so he's pretty much a flex option for Peter over there. So maybe you would hold on to him, but I mean, I would explore trade options if you can. Following this week from a guy that might have had a down week, but it might not have been his fault that it was a down week. Like, let's just say Terry McLaurin goes out there and has the line that I was talking about, where he has 4 receptions for 40 yards on 7 targets, right? People might be afraid of Terry McLaurin. Well, guess what? The rain was a bad situation, or even a Darnell Mooney, right? Rain was a bad situation. It was nasty out there. They're looking at the stat line and the box score. They're not looking at what actually happened. If they looked good in their performances, right, and they were featured and they saw a high, target percentage, that might be somebody like a Darnell Mooney or a Terry McLaurin that I would pivot off Cam Akers for, somebody like that. So I would explore trade options, but don't just freak sell him for like a guy that was drafted in the 11th round or something like that.
Yeah, I'll say this, in a very competitive $100 buy-in dynasty league, he was just moved this morning for Dallas Goedert. There is opportunity, and in my league, I was able to do this, so you can too. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying that there are people out there, they do still exist, regardless of what Twitter or Facebook want to tell you, that are interested in acquiring Cam Akers. So Chase is definitely right that you should be exploring. Just don't feel pressed that you have to.
Yeah, that's kind of the best way to say it, honestly. I mean, I've never been a big Cam Akers fan. I don't have him in any of my leagues, and I have like 30 leagues. But selling him at like his lowest value right now for the season is not the smart move. Explore, see if you can get something good still. And again, they're playing the Falcons next week. He could just jump right back up. I mean, it's possible. So like wait until you see what happens after week 1. Week 1 is over. Don't overreact to week 1. I always say don't overreact to week 1 until you get into week 2 and see what happens then.
Love it. All right. Do you guys have anything else to add? I think we're out of questions.
Well, we got Robert here at the bottom.
Oh, did we get one more in? All right.
Yeah, we got Robert. He snuck one in.
Robert, what's up, man? I think he was part of our groups last year, too, coming in here. So thanks for joining us. We're going to do this last question. I'm going to get out of here because I got to pack and get to the game before it starts and then head out to California. So need flex help. Should I start Olave, Watkins, or Breece Hall? Watkins for week 1, to me, it just seems like it's like too good to be true type thing, where I want to play Watkins, but I'm more doing it so in like DFS, so I don't lose in season-long leagues because of it. Meanwhile, Olave is my favorite rookie to start this season. I think Olave is going to smash this week up against Atlanta, especially if Michael Thomas struggles with his injury throughout the week. It's between Watkins and Olave for me, and my heart is telling me to go with Watkins just because I love it, but my brain is saying go Olave.
I think, Rob, it depends on the situation. If you think your team is destined to win this game, I honestly would go Breece Hall just as a safe option. I know, he's got a tougher matchup, but I feel like there's just more consistency compared to Olave and Watkins week 1 because we just don't know what kind of target share they're going to actually receive. I mean, Olave could have 2 targets early on, and Watkins could have 1 or 2 as well. Breece Hall is probably going to see at least 10 to 15 touches in this game pretty easily. But if you're thinking that, my team doesn't really look too good against this opponent, I mean, Olave or Watkins could just go off for one like 50-yard touchdown early, and you have 11 fantasy points just from that. So it kind of depends on your situation. That's how I'm playing that one.
I like that. That's a great point.
The god of week 1, Sammy Watkins, doesn't have as tough of a matchup. I know we were talking about, it's the Falcons. However, Cam Hayward Jr. was the 12th ranked cornerback out of 116 last year, and Terrell 2nd out of 116 last year.
They are majorly improved.
Now, their slot corner, Alford, not as much.
Robert Alford is brutal.
But Olave's not going to be playing in the slot.
Casey Hayward also got beat deep last year. He wasn't great on the deep ball. They didn't see a lot of opportunities because that defensive line was able to get pressure on the quarterback. But Casey Hayward has been known in the past to get beat deep. The issue is if they face off one-on-one against each other, which I don't know if Casey Hayward necessarily would end up shadowing Michael Thomas if he plays. If Olave can get off the line, then Olave could be great downfield.
But that's that risk. I would look at it like this. Olave is great if Michael Thomas doesn't play in theory. However, if Hayward is getting beat deep, I could see Hayward matching up against Jarvis Landry if they're in man coverage.
Alford's on the outside. Alford's always played outside. Alfred's never been a slot guy, so I don't know how he's slot over there for Falcons. I used to love picking on Alfred over there for the Cardinals. Like that was one of my main target. Like I love my matchup like narratives where I'm like, okay, this cornerback is facing off against this wide receiver. This wide receiver skill sets allow him. Now Alfred actually struggles more so up against bigger, more physical guys because I think he's like 190 pounds, like 6 foot, 190 pounds. So he struggles up against bigger guys that are more physical. But Alfred's still not a good corner regardless. I think that he can keep up with Olave. I don't think my narrative would change much if Alfred covered him up against Casey Hayward. But I'm going to go Olave over Breece Hall this week.
But I'm taking Watkins over all of them.
Okay. I like it.
Look at Dobbs is the only receiver, and Randall Cobb. So you got Randall Cobb, Dobbs, and though Watson is playing, he's barely practiced with this. He might get a deep shot. Sammy Watkins, week 1 narrative. It exists. It's real. He's weird. Aaron Rodgers is weird. There's a connection there. Who knows? I actually want to play Watkins week 1.
All right. I do have to get out of here. Let's go ahead and knock out this last question. Steven, we'll start with you. Pierce or Tyreek Hill?
Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill.
It's too good of a matchup.
In the flex, Tyreek Hill, baby. If that's Taysom Hill, now we can talk, and it's Pierce. But if that's Tyreek Hill, then
I'm guessing it's
Tyreek Hill, baby. It's always Tyreek Irving.
If it's Taysom Hill, then go Dameon Pierce. But I'm pretty sure that's Tyreek. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. Let everybody know where we can find you guys. Thomas, we'll start out with you.
Hey, you can always find me over there at Dynasty Tilt. You can find me at Thomas Tipple FF every Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. We're going full tilt. You should too. Come and join us. Hang out. It's a good time.
Steve?
Yeah, you can find me over at the Fantasy Coaches. I'll be doing a post-game recap show later on tonight. But you can always hit me up on Twitter at Coach Stephen P. So.
Yep. And you guys can find me over there at FF_intervention on Twitter. And you guys can check out our DFS shows for Player Profiler and Roto Underworld. Those come out on Fridays at 7 o'clock on YouTube. You can also check out the podcast over there, playerprofiler.com. Thank you guys for tuning in. And thank you all for letting us intervene with your fantasy football life. We're out.